So welcome to Past GCSE English Language, focusing on this time paper 2, Writers Viewpoints and Perspectives, real people writing about real things, and you get 2 things to read. This is the diagram that shows that there are 5 questions. So what are we going to focus on? We're focusing on the reading questions. And which ones are they? Do you know? Which ones are about the reading, the 2 texts, and how long do you get to answer the questions about the reading? Okay, so it's the first 4 questions are reading, and you get an hour. And so our focus is just going to be question 4. How many marks are there and how much time? It is one of only 2 questions that require you to compare the 2 sources. So you get 16 marks for this maximum, which is 40%, so nearly half. And so you use nearly half the time, 25 minutes. So what does this question 4, 25 minutes, 16 mark question look like? Well, here are 3 of them from past papers. And if you look at the layout on the page, they all follow exact same format. There's like 3, maybe 4 sections. So you've got that bit that starts for this question, you need to refer to source A, source B. Then you've got the bit that starts compare how the writers convey their middle section, and then you've got this in your answer you could with 3 bullet points. So like a long question, what is it you've actually got to do? So first thing to know is that really you're only interested in this middle bit. We know we're comparing the 2 sources. And what does it actually mean? Compare how the writers convey their different feelings and perspectives on their adventures in the mountains. So there's like 3 different pieces of information that you've got to get your head around. So writers convey, what does that mean? How do these 2 people show, right? So what are they showing about their feelings and perspective? So that means what they think about, what's their point of view on. And so key here is on what are we comparing that they shows or what they think about. And it's this last bit, which is the key bit, adventures in the mountains. So how do they show that they've had different experiences in the mountains? And the next one, similarly, you're really just focused on that end, experiences at sea. How are these 2 people having different experiences at sea? And the last one, again, we're looking at the end, cycling in the city. So 2 people have obviously had different experiences or similar experiences in this case of cycling in the city. What are they? You've got to say. Right, so this is the one that we're going to be working on in the video. Compare how the writers convey their different feelings and perspectives on swimming. So what do you have to compare? Work it out. It's all about swimming, how these 2 people have got different feelings or points of view on swimming. How are they showing it? Okay, so you've got to keep that in your mind as you start reading. We don't want you to write about anything apart from how they feel about swimming. You've got to stick to the question. Okay, so before we start actually reading the sources to find out how these 2 people feel about swimming, we've got to read the boxes. So I keep going on about the boxes. The boxes are at the top of the extracts, and they basically tell you who, when, what, where. If you don't read it, it's super confusing trying to work out what's going on. So source A, somebody called Baroness Blanche Staff, odd name. Was the author, so the writer of The Ladies' Dressing Room. Again, a bit of a strange title, but we can see it's written in 1893, which is why it seems odd. What is it, the extract about? She gives advice about swimming in the sea. So who, this Baroness, what are they writing about? Swimming in the sea, 1893, and we're in the sea. Second one, 2011, well, there's the when, it's more recent. Somebody called David swam the Thames, he's raising money. He wrote about his experience in the Telegraph in an article called My Epic Thames Swim. Okay, so that's what we're heading into. Okay, so let's show you how you're going to write your answer once you've read it and you've got something to say. And you're going to use this same point evidence explain process. So it might look something like, in A, she thinks swimming's brilliant. It says, and you put a quote in that shows it's brilliant, and then you're going to say something about the word she's chosen to describe her experience of swimming. Then I'm going to go, however, in B, he thinks swimming's awful, maybe. It says, and then explain. So that's the process we're going through. So when you start reading, bear that in mind. So this is where you would actually read the thing, and this is what you need to really pause and read it now. So I actually have read it, and so I have got a point that I'm going to make about her feelings or her point of view on swimming, which she's basically giving advice about swimming in the sea, I think. She goes at good times, and it's an exercise for her or some kind of hobby. So I've got some points. I know what her point of view is on swimming now. And here's the second one. And again, you're going to have to read it and work out what he feels about swimming. What's his point of view? Again, I have. And I can see that swimming's made him ill. He's sick. He's definitely not doing this for pleasure. It says in the thing, he's trying to raise money. And it's not fun at all. So I got some points. So read both, got a couple of things to say. Let's see how you put it together. So what I'm going to say in A, my point is she's got advice about the best way to swim, whereas in B, he's really ill and having a bad time. I'm backing it up. She says the best moment for a bathe is high tide, so that's going to be my quote. And with him, he says, I felt rough as a dog. So I think that shows he's having a bad time. And then I'm going to try and say something about the quote that I've picked. I'm going to zoom in on that phrase, the best moment, and explain that that's showing she's got a favourite time when she goes. And then with him, I'm going to talk about that simile that we use a lot, as rough as a dog, and explain that I know that means he felt really terrible and he actually shouldn't be swimming at all. And that is it. I've made a point about these two texts and how they compare and how they're different. So you need to try and do that and probably make 2 or 3 points in 25 minutes, 2 or 3 different quotes. Good luck.